Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Okay, we are going to start with our dissection here, but before we get started, I have a few things I would like to mention. So as I'm grading your assignments, and I haven't graded everyone's from Monday and Tuesday, but as I am, there's a few things I definitely need to bring up. First off, invertebrates versus chordates. Frogs and pigs have a vertebrate. Vertebrates are in the category of chordate. So at some point in their life, they have had a tail that extends beyond the anus. They have pharyngeal pouches. They usually go on to develop into gills or lungs. A dorsal hollow nerve cord, which usually goes on to develop into the spinal cord. And a notochord, which usually goes on to develop into a backbone. If it doesn't have a backbone, in most cases, it's an invertebrate, such as the worm, or an insect, or a crab, or a jellyfish. So hopefully there's some clarity there. The frog and pig have been pretty similar, not the same, but they're similar than any other kind of combination regarding the worm, the frog, and the pig. So as we move from the worm to the frog to the pig, the complexity of the organism definitely increases. And if you've not looked at the comments I've made on your assignments from this week, please do so. You'll probably be looking back at those assignments to get information. So it's probably easier if you look at those comments and fix anything you need to fix before we do our project next week. And then lastly, regarding next week's project, the main objective, the main objective, or like the big idea of this whole unit, is to be able to compare and contrast how the frog, the pig, and the worm all use, transport, and excrete energy. So you're going to be doing that in some type of format, and you'll be working with your partner. I've been talking about this partner all week. So you'll get the assignment of Wednesday next week, and you'll have something little to turn in on Wednesday. And then Thursday, you'll also have time to work. And the whole project isn't due until Monday. So you and your partner, you guys need to make sure that you have time arranged or some time set aside to virtually meet to start thinking. So you might want to start thinking about that time spot now. I will send out an email before the end of the day tomorrow stating who is partnered with who. Some of you asked me to assign you a partner, and others have said, this is who I'm working with, or some of you picked a person and that person didn't pick you back. Sorry, life sucks sometimes. And that's kind of that. So you got to work with me here. I am definitely trying to pick someone that is not your arch nemesis. But we don't have any of those, right? Okay. Today we are going to work with the mouth and then expose the digestive system. But before that, because I know you guys don't try to skip through my videos, this pig is definitely a female. All right, I will show you a picture of the male versus female again. And we are going to, like I said, we're going to spend time on the mouth and the digestive system. But I have the pig kind of roped off here. That sounds terrible. But here is the female. There is, I guess I should, you see this here. There is the anus, the urogenital opening, and then the genital papillae. Okay. I hope you can see all of this pretty clearly. All right, the mouth. Sorry it's upside down, but this is the best way I can do it with the camera still on it. Okay, so pig is tied in place. In order to see everything in the mouth, we have to make some cuts. So this thing right here, it's really bumpy. This is the tongue, so the tongue is kind of sticking out of the mouth here. I am going to make some cuts with the scalpel from the corner of the mouth back to the jawbone. I'm definitely cutting through bone at this point. Okay, that's one side. want you to be able to see everything in here. This burger has some sharp teeth. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so cool, guys. There's something I particularly need you to see here. So, I'm gonna get a paper towel and wipe some of this out. It's just like preservatives and stuff, gunk. Oh my goodness. Okay, I love this. Okay, a few things in the mouth I really want to point out to you here. Okay, so it has some teeth, and I'm telling you guys, these teeth are very sharp. Here are the teeth. These two in particular, very sharp. They could like rip my gloves. Top of the roof of the mouth, so you have your hard palate just like we have, nice and hard up here, and then it goes back to the soft palate. So soft palate in the back where it is way softer. You obviously can't feel that, just take my word on it. Then there is this opening, and this opening is called like the glottis. Well, it goes to the back of your throat. We have this, and like you can't see it because we can't open our mouths, but there's this little flappy do, I know technical term, called the epiglottis. The epiglottis, okay, I'm gonna hope you can see this here, is right here. Do you see this little thing right here? Maybe not. I'm trying. Okay. Yes, you can see it. Right here is the epiglottis, little flappy do. Okay. The epiglottis covers up, so you have two holes back there. One is going to go to your lungs, and the other is going to go to your esophagus. And so when you eat, the food is going to go down the esophagus, so the epiglottis is going to flap over and close up the airway, and then like the trachea, and then whenever you're breathing in, you do not want air just going to your stomach, so it's going to flap over the other way and cover up the esophagus. Very, very, very cool. Totally love that. And then here is the tongue. Okay, tongue's a little stiff. We got rigor mortis going on here. But there are also very sharp teeth down here. Not all of the teeth are sharp. In fact, the frontal teeth are flatter because the pig is the omnivore, so it's going to eat plants and meat. But these teeth on the side, there are two really prickly ones right here, and on the side up here, whereas the frontal teeth are flatter. There are teeth coming in right here. They are not through the roof of the mouth yet, but they would be like molars. They are also a lot flatter. Okay, so that is the mouth. Okay, I'm going to turn this pig around at this point so it's easier for me and scoot her up. So we can start with the digestive system. Okay, I have to rope off the pig so that it's easier for me to make cuts and to keep the body open. Okay. Do that one more time. Okay. All right, so usually I would have a Sharpie and like make a Sharpie mark of like where my cuts are going to be. I'm not going to do that today because my Sharpie is not working very well because I've tried, and once it gets wet it just doesn't work very well. So not doing that. Okie dokie, here we go. Starting up here, I hope I'm all on camera. And I have to be very careful because I do not want to expose, or I mean I want to expose all the organs below, but I do not want to cut too deep and ruin any of the organs. So at this point, I have cut just through the skin. You can see there's like the layer between the skin and the muscle. If this were anatomy and physiology class, you would actually skin this animal, this pig here, and you would have to be able to identify all the different muscles. So what we're doing would definitely not happen. You would skin it first. I remember when I was in my first anatomy and physiology class in college, they were like, okay, memorize all the muscles and all the bones. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. No, all the bones. Like, you do not realize how many bones there are in the face. And I was like, I've never heard of these words before. It was all memorization, that's for sure. Okay, you can see I'm going through the muscle layer at this point. Up here, I have to be able to cut through those, the ribs and the breastbone, or the sternum. Okay. Almost through. I thought about putting music on, and then I thought someone would think, Miss Turk, you're super creepy. Although someone did suggest I put on serial killer music. Pretty sure it was Jimmy. Huh. Okay, and we are into the abdominal cavity there. So I'm into it. This is just mesentery, which is that thin tissue that covers everything and protects it. Okay. Oh, guys, this is so cool. I love seeing this stuff. Okay, you see some things? I'm gonna have to go dump out. This sounds gross, but I'm gonna be realistic here. I have to go dump this pig out because there are preservatives on the inside, and so it's kind of soupy in there, and you won't be able to see everything because there'll be liquid in the way. Okay, extend this up here. Okay, I'm at the point where I need my scissors. Oh. In the sink. Because I have to cut through sternum, which is up here. Cutting the pericardium. It's okay, it's that covering for the heart. All right, at this point, I need you to like open the pig up. So I'm gonna make some cuts down along the sides here. I'm trying to go like this so that you can open the pig up and you can see a lot more. I can already hear some of you. Ew! I know it can be gross, but it is also super fascinating to see what lies on the inside. Maybe that's just me. No, I think there's a few of you who would agree with me with that statement. Okay, I'm going to cut around the umbilical cord because I want you to be able to see its point of attachment on the inside. Which I already cut. So, okay, right here. Use my probe. So when I open it up, the very first thing that you see is the liver. There are multiple lobes of the liver here. And then the umbilical cord has two attachment points. It's going to attach right here, which attaches to the liver. And then it's going to attach lower down here. So I had to cut that there. There was no way around it because otherwise the umbilical cord would just completely be in the way. this cut down. This is like, takes the longest, is opening this up here, and then we'll be able to talk through all the organs that you see. Okay, something else. So as you open up the pig, you'll be able to notice quite a few things. It is being like stuck together right here. And there is this thing right here. It is a muscle, and it's called the diaphragm, and it's going to separate the abdominal cavity from the thoracic cavity. It's attaches to the body wall, so it's all along the inside here. And it's separates, like I said, the abdominal from like the thoracic cavity, but it's really separating it from the lungs and the heart. So as you contract your diaphragm, your lungs are filling up with air. So it's just a big muscle. And I do need to cut that along the sides of the body, or I won't be able to open up the pig. But as I'm cutting it, you should be able to see more and more of the lungs, which are, they're down here, and the heart. So this thing right here, here's the heart. Okay. Oh, no, I'm ripping it. There we go. Oh, that's a beaut. That's not even filled with too much juicy gunk. Maybe I can just use a paper towel and pat it dry so we can move on here. Okay, and I'll show you a better picture here of the diaphragm and another picture of internal pigs. The pictures I show you are really good so you can kind of compare one pig to another, because like I said, they're not all the same. I remember when I was in anatomy and physiology, we did, in college, we did our lab practicals, so we had to be able to identify basically any part of the cat and the dogfish shark, and when you looked from one to another, I was like, oh my gosh, this looked like so different. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Okie dokie smoky. Okay, I already cut through the rib cage, and you can see the lungs and the heart. So once again, the lungs, so here's the diaphragm, the lungs are up here, and then here's the heart right here, nice and pretty. Hopefully you can see all that. Okay, we are going to take a look at the digestive system at this part. So one of the largest structures right below this diaphragm is going to be the liver, which the liver was really big in the frog as well. I'm going to pin these open. There we go. So here's our liver, nice and large. It's multi-lobed. This actually not just multi-lobed, it is 5 lobes. So there are 5 lobes to this liver. The frog had 3. I'm going to be removing this momentarily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 lobes. Underneath of it is going to be the gallbladder. The gallbladder is not so green in this case, probably because of the preservatives, but here's the gallbladder. It is still that like sac-like thing. Okay, as a reminder, the function of the liver is going to be to detoxify the blood. It also secretes bile and other chemicals for the digestive system. So that's the liver. Okay, we talked about the gallbladder. So the gallbladder is right here. Still a sac, but it's not really green, like I said. The gallbladder has ducts that attach to the liver, so they're little like ducts or like tube-like things, and they're going to carry bile from the liver into the gallbladder and back again, and the bile is going to aid in the digestion of fats. So now I'm going to try to remove the entire liver and the gallbladder and try to keep it intact here. Remember, these are accessory organs. Oop. So the food does not directly go through through either the gallbladder or the liver. They just help with digestion. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, this is like so stinking cool. It's been a while since I've actually done the dissection. It's usually like me with some minor assist, like minorly assisting you guys doing it. Someone yelled at, a couple people yelled at me, "Get your big head out of the way." So I'm trying not to get my head away. Okay, she's almost free. Okay, so here is our liver. Oh my gosh, so stinking cool. Okay. So liver, it's so big, guys, so big. Back here, like I said, is that gallbladder, okay? And these are all the ducts, so it attaches to all throughout here, okay? This tube, you can see it's a tube, there's a hole right there. That's what was attaching to the umbilical cord. So there is our liver. It's a beaut, looks nice and strong. Okay, on the left of the pig, not my left, not your left, the pig's left, is the stomach. So the stomach is right here. It is brownish, pinkish in color. It is like a sack, like a big flappy bag kind of thing. And its purpose is to break down the chunks of food using hydrochloric acid and muscle contractions. If we were to open this up, we're not doing that right now, you would still see those rugae or those folds because it's going to increase surface area, and it's also going to like help with the muscular contractions. Okay, attached to the stomach on the left side, again, not our left, the pig's left, is this long, it looks kind of like a finger, it's brownish here. This is the spleen. The spleen is not part of the digestive system. It is going to clean the blood by recycling old blood cells and removing bacteria. So it is essentially a link between the circulatory system and the immune system. And the cleaning function here is different than from the kidney and the liver. Okay, the rest of the abdominal cavity here is filled with intestines. The narrower diameter ones are going to be the small intestine. So this is all small intestine right here. Okay, not here. We're all right here. That's all small intestine. And they're going to continue digesting materials or food, and they're going to absorb nutrients. And the thin mesentery, so the mesentery is that thin tissue, all this. So I'm going to actually remove these and cut them so you can see how long they are. But all this stuff right here, so this is the small intestine, and then all this stuff that kind of keeps it connected is the mesentery. It is filled with a whole bunch of blood vessels that are going to, it's going to absorb that and then just kind of like take it to wherever it needs throughout the body. So ultimately the blood will carry the nutrients to the rest of the body. The larger diameter portion of this on the left of this animal is the large intestine, and it's like in this bound spiral shape. So right here is kind of all stuck together. This is the large intestine. It's kind of greenish, so that means it is nice and full. That's the large intestine. This is one of the very few differences between the pig and the human. So the human large intestine forms a loop around the outer portion of the abdominal cavity, where this one is kind of all spiral shaped and together. So if this was one of us, the small intestine would be here, and the large intestine would like form this loop kind of around it. But I have a picture to show you here. The function of the large intestine is going to absorb water out of the food that is left, and so if, I know this sounds gross, but if you have very watery poop, that means that the large intestine is not absorbing enough water, where if you are constipated, it's absorbing too much water. So usually that has to affect your water intake, or also whatever the heck you are eating. Okay, so I am now going to remove this large and small intestine, and then we can look at some other smaller things inside of here. The intestines literally take up like all of the space, which you will see that when I unravel them. I'm going to unravel them off camera because it takes a while. I see the pancreas. I'm starting to cut part of it. I don't want that to happen. Okay guys, just because I can see it really well right now and I don't want to end up cutting it, this is the pancreas. I'll talk about that more momentarily, but it has this weird texture. So here's the pancreas right here, not up here, that's the spleen. Here's the pancreas. It has this weird texture right here. Do you see that? I'll show you another picture soon. But it's also very delicate, so I've already ripped part of it as I'm trying to get this intestine removed. So, you have seen it, just part of it will probably be coming out here. All right, so here are the intestines. Once again, this is all small intestine right here. This is large intestine over here where it's really coiled together. And so guys, it's all kind of like looped around. This is all mesentery. All those microscopic blood vessels are found right in here, all along here. That's going to take the nutrients from the food and take it to the rest of the body. And then, there you go. There's the end of the large intestine, which it'll go to the rectum from there. Okay, I'll put that off to the side. Okay, I don't have a microscope here, but what we would do in class is I would have you use that small intestine, and like after you made it really long, I would have you open a piece of it up and put it underneath a microscope, because there's these really cool little finger-like projections on the inside, and they're called villi. And what they do is they are going to really increase the surface area of the small intestine, so there's way more area for absorption of nutrients into the body. All mammals, including humans, have this villi. Other species like amphibians don't. They're going to lack it. Okay, so the large intestine was going to go to the bottom here, which I think I did a decent job. Yeah, okay, so right here is where I cut. This here is the rectum. So the large intestine leads to the rectum, which I have my probe in right here. Okay, and then that's like the last place of the digestive system where food is going to be, and then it's going to carry the waste into the anus, or out of the anus, way back here, where we have poop coming out. So right beneath the stomach, there was the pancreas, which it's usually, I usually have a really hard time finding the pancreas, but I ripped part of it. Here's the pancreas. It's this weird textured organ right here. Okay, I'll show you a picture of that as well. So the pancreas is going to make these digestive enzymes, and they're going to flow into the small intestine. Remember, an enzyme is a chemical that's going to speed up a chemical reaction. So these digestive enzymes that the pancreas produces are powerful in breaking down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The pancreas also produces insulin, which is going to lower the amount of blood, or amount of sugar in the blood. And here's your picture. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we are going to stop today. Tomorrow I will show you the true length of your intestines, or of Miss Piggy's here intestines, and then we will look at some other parts. Have a wonderful day.